y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Creative Cast. I am so excited that you're here. This is a very special episode because today is episode 25 and the season 1 finale. I cannot believe we've done 24 episodes, with this being episode 25 and wrapping up season 1 today. It seems like we just started this journey together. Oh, so fast. It went by so fast. Because this is the season 1 finale, I'm going to be taking a couple weeks off because this girl needs a break, and I will explain more about that a little bit later on in the show. Today's episode is just going to be about you and I having a conversation. So go grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever you want to drink. Please don't let me know if it's pumpkin spice latte. And if you know, you know. But today I'm going to be talking about a few things that I have learned during the course of this season over the last 24 episodes. Some have been great. Some have been amazing. Some, not so much. Some lessons definitely learned. Notice I didn't say failures because honestly, I don't use that word. I don't like that word. The reason is because of the negative connotation, because when you say failure, for me, like you did something wrong, and that's not necessarily the case. So I like to use like learning experience, lesson learned. Now, these last 24 episodes have been so much fun to do. It's also been a learning experience. Now, I know that kind of sounds funny or weird coming from a podcast producer, editor, and coach, but as we all know, not everything is perfect. Not everyone is perfect. And if we're to continue to grow, we need to continue learning. We need to look at the things that are happening to us and go, what can I learn from that experience? For me, as long as I continue to grow and learn new things and have different opportunities, that ultimately helps my clients when it comes to producing and editing and coaching and strategy and all of those types of things. We launched the podcast back in March of this year. And in case you didn't know, the original concept of the Creative Cast was just really to do 12 episodes. I could use to help clients and potential clients with a lot of the questions that I get. And they were a lot of the same questions, like how do you launch a podcast? How long does it take to launch a podcast? What is the right microphone? Which podcast host should I get? All the things, right? But by episode 3, I knew that this was going to be more of a long-term project, that it wasn't just going to be 12 episodes. So when I approached my assistant at the time and I said, we're going to continue doing this past 12, let's do some research, let's look at topics, let's see how we're going to work this into the schedule. She literally looked at me like I had 8 heads while we were on our Zoom call. And she was like, how are we going to do this? How are you going to do this? I'm like, I don't know. It'll all come together. We're just going to do this because I'm loving this too much. And I was getting amazing feedback. So why not continue it, right? Now, one of the things that I learned that I absolutely love being a solo host and sharing my knowledge with you that I've gained over the years with different types of podcasts that I've been lucky to be a part of, working with different kind of clients. But I also learned that I love interviewing others and hearing their story. Because as I've said before, everyone has a story to share. And everyone's story matters. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you've been through. Your story matters. The other really cool thing is I've got to have some of my friends on the show, like my friend Ashley Henriot, where we talked all about her journey as a TikTok mom and all the things about TikTok and Instagram and why you should be utilizing those things, as well as my friend Melody Balot came on the show and we took that deep dive into social media and marketing. But when I was looking at what my favorite episodes were, it's like picking a favorite child. I just can't do that. I love each and every episode. One of my very favorite episodes was with my business bestie and good friend, Elena Frederick. And I love that she just turned the tables on me. And we ended up doing an interview with her interviewing me, which was just so much fun, even though she made me. Now, I have thoroughly enjoyed doing each and every episode, and I hope that you enjoyed them as much as I did making them. Now, one of the things that I realized is I need to get better at following my own advice, because we all do that, right? If a friend has a problem or an issue, we can come up with all kinds of advice for them. Say, you should try this, or you should do this, or, right? We've all done that. But when it comes to following our own advice, we don't really do that. Now, I know all my coaching and consulting friends out there know exactly what I'm talking about, that for some reason, we just don't do it. We know the things. I know how to make a great podcast. I know all the tips, the tricks, the strategies, the tried and true methods. But did I do it from the very beginning? No. But after a few episodes and looking at the analytics, I realized that we missed a couple of things. We needed to grow the listener base. We needed to increase the downloads. So we kind of went back to the drawing board a little bit. We started using some different software, and it was time to upgrade my mic. Now, the mic that I have, it's a decent mic, but I wasn't doing a lot of podcasting. I didn't need a super fancy, expensive mic. And you don't need a super fancy, expensive mic when you're podcasting at all. But I wanted it to sound a little bit better and high quality. And so that's exactly what I did. So we upgraded the mic. We went back to the drawing board. We did a couple of different things. So for those of you that are wanting to know, because I know I'm going to get a question and a note about it, I decided to upgrade to the Rode Podcaster USB mic. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know I absolutely love Rode mics. I love my Rode Podcaster mic. I recommend it to a lot of different people that are ready, when they're ready to upgrade to something a little bit more expensive, a little bit more robust. And there's something about the Rode mic. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite one to use. In fact, I have two of them. I have the Pro mic, and then I also have a Rode mic, a little bitty Rode mic for my iPhone. I even used it not too long ago on a Instagram Live that I did with my friend Abby, and it provided great audio quality. So if you guys are interested in that, I will post the links for both types of mics in the show notes. And honestly, because of some of these things that the team and I did when we looked back at different things, the downloads doubled, the audience base grew. Now, this shouldn't be surprising to me at all because it's what I do, right? See, for me, looking at the downloads, I'm not super focused on those numbers because I'm not seeking sponsorships. I'm not looking to monetize the podcast directly, at least not right now. We don't do any kind of sponsorship or direct monetization like Patreon or Spotify subscriptions or anything like that for the show. But I was looking at what the numbers were telling me because that's where a lot of the decision making happens. I base all my decisions for my business on actual numbers, not what I feel is the right way or, what is the hard data telling me. And it helps me to see which episodes are doing well, which are not doing so well, which ones really resonated with you guys, which ones you're kind of it's okay. And for those of you that are curious, the number one rated episode is the episode that we did on starting a podcast for your church, which was a little surprising. I thought it was going to be maybe some of the ones about launching your podcast and all those introductory questions that I get a lot. I will post the link to that episode in the show notes. As many things that have gone really, really well for season 1, there was one thing that was such a struggle for me. Now, I have mentioned many times on the show, and with any client calls and discovery calls, strategy sessions, things like that, about how important it is to have a workflow. Is that workflow actually working for you, or is it kind of working against you? And how hosting a podcast, whether it's weekly, every other week, whatever the frequency may be, it's hard work, y'all. It is not an easy walk in the park. And that's even true for seasoned podcast producer and editor. For me, staying on track with the workflow that I created was becoming really difficult, with client work being a priority, normal family things being a priority, and other health-related things that I've been dealing with since before I started doing the podcast back in March. So I mentioned I'd give you some behind-the-scenes updates on this. Okay, so here goes. So for those of you that are not aware, I had COVID back in June of 2020. Very mild case, was only really sick for like 4 or 5 days, no hospitalization, mostly coughing related to my asthma issues. Then I started having some issues related to post-COVID symptoms, long haul COVID, and that kind of started in January of this year. And most of the health-related issues are irregular heart rate, temperature control, fatigue, and brain fog. There's a few other things, but I won't bore you with all the boring details of that. But because of this, and dealing with a chronic illness day in and day out, and realizing, hey, my workflow was not really working all that well, because I was managing doctor's appointments and the occasional trip to the ER and learning how to manage rest along with getting all the things done. Because before this, I was one of those people that worked all the time. And my body just wasn't allowing me to do that. That wasn't something that I could do anymore. And that's okay. And I truly believe that, God was saying, hey, Tammy, you need to chill. You need to slow it down. So kind of went back to the drawing board a little bit with the workflow. Because, like I said, it just wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for the team. I wasn't getting the things done in a timely manner. Everything was in literally the 11th hour on a Sunday night, recording and editing. Where this new workflow is working much better, allows for more time for me to batch episodes, to batch interviews, and being able to send this out to the editing team, which I know they are going to absolutely love. And we're going to be doing all this in season 2. So I'm super excited about it. So what's in store for season 2? Well, like anything when it comes to looking at the data, there's always going to be some changes that you're going to want to make. Now, no worries. I'm still going to be providing tips and tricks and all the things in different areas of podcasting and answering the questions that you send in. So please continue to send those in. Send them to me via Instagram, to send them via email at hello@tammymunsoncreative.com, because I absolutely love reading all your notes and comments and thoughts and suggestions. But the other thing that we are going to be adding is more interviews with current podcasters. Some you may know, some you may not know, so that we can hear their stories about their journey with podcasting. We're also going to bring on some experts on the business of podcasting and just being a creative in general. Email marketing and social media, promotion of your podcast, ads, Patreon, so much more. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about all these changes for season 2. So I want you to let me know what you're thinking. You guys usually do. And I absolutely love that about y'all. Is there something you would like to hear more about? Is there something I just haven't covered enough on the show? Let me know. Again, email or over on Instagram, drop me a DM at Tammy_Munson. I want you to mark your calendars. Season 2 will kick off in 2 weeks on October 18th. We're still keeping it on Mondays. None of that's changing. Still in all the places. Now, before we wrap up the show today, I want to ask you a question. It may be a favor. Have you left a review for the Creative Cast yet? If you have, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate that. And if you haven't, why not, friend? If you'd be so inclined, I would absolutely love you forever and ever and ever. And let's be honest, I will anyway. But you can go over to Apple Podcasts and find The Creative Cast, or you can just go applepodcast.com/The Creative Cast. Use your phone if you can. You're going to want to click on write a review and then click on the 5 stars. Now, here's some bonus points for y'all, okay? So, and this is a chance for a shout out on the podcast. Add a quick sentence or a couple of sentences about what you enjoy about the show. Maybe something you've learned, something funny, whatever you want it to be. And make sure that you include your podcast name if you have one. As always, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email at hello@TammyMunsonCreative.com or again on Instagram at Tammy_Munson. Ladies, I say this each and every week, and I absolutely mean it. I believe in each and every one of you. I believe you can do this. Y'all are my heroes because I believe that inexperience, production fatigue, and intimidating tech should not hold you back. So let's walk through the journey together so that you can spend less time worrying about all the details and more time spreading your message and sharing your story. I hope that you have a great day, and I will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye, y'all.